Good afternoon. I would like to call to order the Council Operations, IT, and Public Transportation Committee. Madam Clerk, if you will call the roll, please.
And just as a reminder to all who are in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Mr. Schlepper.
Here.
Ms. Simon.
Here.
Mr. Castleberry.
Here.
Mr. Gallagher. Mr. Gallagher is absent at the moment. Mr. Sweeney. Mr. Sweeney is absent at the moment. There is a quorum.
All right, is there any public comment?
No, Mr. Chair, no one is signed in.
All right, I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the April 15th, 2025 meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Do we have any matters referred to committee at this time?
No, Mr. Chair.
All right, fantastic. Well, then we will move right along to our presentation. We have an update from the Northeastern Ohio Regional Sewer District. I've been very excited, looking forward to this presentation about operations and what they do to serve our county. So we will welcome them up to the podium at this time.
Good afternoon, Council. I'm Matt Charver, I'm Director of Watershed Programs for the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District.
Welcome. Thank you for being here.
And we're going to give you a presentation on our programs at the district. We're going to cover a wide variety of items today for the committee. So first we'll take a look at the district at a glance, just give you a broad overview. We'll talk a little bit about our sanitary services, and then our regional stormwater management program, and end with some cost savings information. So about the sewer district, we serve 62 member communities. Covers 4 counties, mainly Cuyahoga County and Summit County. We are governed by a 7 board member trustees, and we are also governed by Ohio Revised Code Chapter 6119. We are a regional utility, a separate independent political subdivision, state of Ohio. So some challenges and opportunities. So I'll give you a little bit of background information about our combined sewer overflow program, one of our main charges to address for the region. And then we'll talk about how we interact with the municipalities, our member communities, to address local water quality and public health issues. And then you'll see through our regional stormwater management program how we interact for inter-community drainage issues. And then we'll end with that cost savings information that I mentioned. So first, on the left of your screen, we operate 3 large wastewater treatment plants across the region. Our Easterly wastewater treatment plant is located in the village of Bracknell. Our Westerly plant is near Edgewater Park in city of Cleveland. And then our Southerly plant is located in Cuyahoga Heights. The Southerly plant is on a sprawling 200-plus acre facility, and that's the largest wastewater treatment plant in the state of Ohio of its kind. So these are big operations. Last year we treated 77 billion gallons of wastewater before that was released either to the Cuyahoga River or out to Lake Erie. We also have a nationally accredited certified laboratory that's also in Cuyahoga Heights that helps facilitate a lot of our programs. In the middle section there, you can see a picture of one of our tunnels. For our combined sewer overflow program, Project Clean Lake. You may have heard that referenced in media that you've seen, but that's our $3 billion project over a 25-year period. That program was really kicked off in 2010 when our board authorized that to move forward. That's under a federal consent decree, so we're obligated, required to implement a combined sewer overflow program to treat combined sewage before it gets out to our greatest resource, Lake Erie. So, and that's all paid for under our wastewater fees. So that's our sanitary or wastewater program. All wastewater fees pay for that program. And then on the right, that's a picture of Wiley Creek in the village of Moreland Hills. That is under our stormwater program, our regional stormwater management program. That program addresses regional flooding and stream bank erosion across the service area. So last year, our operating budget for that program was about $58 million. That's all stormwater fee related impervious surface cover. So any hard surfaces on properties, driveways, parking lots, rooftops, That's how the fees assessed, charged. It's all fee-driven program under the stormwater program. So this is a picture of our service area. The area in green, colored in green, is our wastewater service area, and you can see the municipalities that are covered under that. The outline in black encompasses our our stormwater program. And I'll just point out a couple of municipalities. If you look to the North Royalton area, you can see just a quadrant of North Royalton is green. That's serviced by the sewer district's wastewater program. But the remainder of North Royalton is also in our stormwater program. So North Royalton, when we launched the Regional Stormwater Management Program, was a community in opposition back in 2010-12. When we went through the process of litigating and began the program in 2013, North Royalton enjoyed our services so much they brought the entirety of the community into our stormwater program. So we've made great strides in getting as many municipalities and their areas into our stormwater service area as we can.
Can we ask questions on slides, Mr. Chairman? Thank you. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late, and welcome. Just, can you go back to the other, or you have the area that you service, all the other communities have their own, or they have subsets of other folks that do the stormwater?
So
How does that work?
Our stormwater service area with all the municipalities that are in our program currently, there's 57 of our 62 communities that are in the stormwater program. That is the only program that.
No, but I should have said wastewater. I wasn't looking at it.
Oh, I'm
Because you have the wastewater, all in green, but all the other cities have their own individuals?
Not
Or do they
necessarily.
have?
So the majority are treated by our wastewater treatment plants. A few of the communities have partial in our service area. So some of their areas, territories, and their municipalities come to the sewer district's wastewater facilities. A few of the communities have their own wastewater treatment plants that still treat some of their
Yeah,
local
just
sewers.
like Solon, Twinsburg, North Olmsted, Westlake Bay, Fairview.
Those communities have their own wastewater treatment operations.
And my last one is there any thoughts of expanding and say, hey, it's good for us, join us now because you
Yeah,
can't
we're
handle
always
it?
looking for those opportunities when they're available. Sometimes they're not available due to the effort to get the sewage to one of our treatment plants in terms of whether it's gravity feed or force mains. So, but we are open to expanding the wastewater and the stormwater service areas if we can.
Yeah, but some of it might be structurally, they might be too far away.
Correct.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Actually, that reminds me, I had a question that I wanted to ask in the same kind of vein. I know on the periphery of the county, there are some spaces that have a lot more septic than others. I live in Moreland Hills. I actually am on a septic. It's a total pain, if I'm being honest. Are there efforts, I know that the county would prefer, everybody to be connected through, our services. Is there an effort to kind of, support some of those outer ring communities to come off of septic?
Yeah, there's a great question. So there is an effort through the sewer district. We have, and I'll talk about this in a couple of slides ahead, our member community infrastructure program where we specifically provide grants to local municipalities to address home sewage treatment system failures that the boards of health have identified. And so we provide dollars to implement new local sanitary sewers that bring that sewage then to one of our 3 treatment plants to get folks relief from the failing septic system. So we do have a program to address that. Yeah. And we coordinate with the boards of health to do that. Okay, just to give you a sense of the differences between the local system and the regional system. So on your left, the 344 are the number of miles of pipe that the sewer district operates and maintains. On the right, that 3,500 miles worth of pipe is on the sanitary local system. So the municipalities have all of that sewer network to operate and maintain before it even gets to our larger interceptor sewers and then onto our 3 wastewater treatment plants. So there's a pretty large disparity in terms of the effort that goes between the local and the regional system. And again, I'll speak to the member community infrastructure program, how we try to support the local municipalities to maintain and operate those systems. But first, I'm going to give you a little more insight in Project Clean Lake. This is our combined sewer overflow program. This has been moving forward since 2010, as I mentioned, projected to be finished in 2036. When the sewer district was created back in 1972 through court order, Cuyahoga County, there were about 9 billion gallons of untreated wastewater that went to the lake every year. Since 72, the sewer district and its partners have knocked that down to about 4.5 billion gallons. Project Clean Lake will take us well under 500 million and likely closer to about 200 million when it's all said and done. So it's about a 98% capture, which is the mandate from our federal consent decree, again, due to the water quality resource of Lake Erie as the receiving water body. So this is a little synopsis of the tunnel project. So we have 7 tunnels that we'll eventually have constructed. We have 5 constructed now or in construction. They range from anywhere from a couple miles to 4 miles in length. They're roughly between 100 to 200 feet in depth. Some are in soft ground. A few are in hard bedrock. There's large pump stations that are involved with this. So if you just imagine a large tube under the ground buried, there's several drop shafts that send the collection system sewage down to those tunnels. It's stored there as the storm event passes by and leaves the territory. Then the pumps kick on and start to move that sewage to our treatment plants to have it treated. So we reduce the amount of combined sewer overflows that we have during large storm events. That, in essence, is how the program operates. It's much
Chairman,
more
real quick.
complicated than that. But go.
Thank you. I don't mean to interrupt. I do mean to interrupt, but I don't want to have you feeling like I'm interrupting you in a negative way. Once we go down to 98%, are we like state of the art compared to everybody else, or we were just really bad, we're just getting caught up?
We'll be the best in the country. So 98% is the highest capture rate.
Ain't that
in the
cool?
country. That
I
is
mean-
very cool, quite expensive, and then we'll have to figure out ways to squeeze out the last 2%.
Thank you. I just wanted to put it in perspective for myself. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So in relation to the Member Community Infrastructure Program, we started this program back in 2017, so we have several rounds under our belts. Current year, our board has authorized $25 million to be awarded in terms of grants to local communities. So any community that is tributary to our wastewater treatment plants are eligible. So this program basically can address failing home sewage treatment systems, but ideally addresses any infrastructure deficiencies in the local system in terms of wastewater. So we've been working this program for several years now, and it's quite successful. This just gives you a snapshot of the 2024 funding round. The area that we cover in terms of our service area, in terms of the projects, the communities are required to provide 25% match. What we've done as the program has evolved is we've broken our program into 2 areas. So we have standard projects and then projects that fall into what we call our equity investment focus area. So we recognize that some of our member communities are less resourced than others. So what we have done is we have those communities compete against themselves or amongst themselves. They are required to only provide a 25% match. Standard projects or communities that are a little bit better positioned in terms of their resourcing compete amongst themselves, and they can provide greater match dollars to their projects and score additional points to capture greater awards per se. This table just shows you the success over the years. So I mentioned 2017 through 25 funding rounds. The important numbers here at the bottom. So we've addressed over 4,000 basement backup or basement flooding issues in a variety of communities, which is very important. I'm sure you all are familiar with complaints that come in through the different county agencies, likely the Department of Public Works, in terms of basement backups and how devastating that can be in terms of an economic effect on any given household. So that we're pleased with that progress. We address sanitary sewer and some combined sewer overflows that still exist in the local system through the program. We've been able to remove a few local wastewater treatment plants from the local collection system, and then We've knocked out 2,000 home sewage treatment systems in multiple communities. And then we've enabled local communities to build back about 63 miles of local sanitary and storm sewer system. So renewal of those storm and sanitary systems to address basement backups and issues in the local system. So pretty successful program. So $106 million invested in 134 public projects since the inception of the program. When we look at the match dollars provided by the local municipalities competing for those dollars, we added another 104 to get us to the $212-ish million of regional investment in the local infrastructure. And I'm just going to show you a couple projects here. This is the Parma Septic Abatement Project in Linden Lane. Oftentimes these projects are quite large in size. So they're broken into phases, and we'd like to support funding through multiple phases. So this was a three-phase approach that's underway in Parma. So this is Parma's addressing their remaining home sewage treatment systems, and you can see here through the numbers that there's a lot of new sanitary sewer that's going to be built and a lot of septic systems to be removed with this funding that we'll be providing, a couple $1 million worth. We work closely with the Cuyahoga County and Summit County Boards of Health when we're working on these home sewage treatment system decommissioning projects. So just to switch gears to the Regional Stormwater Management Program, we've broken our area up into basically 5 major sub-watersheds, Cuyahoga North, South, which you see there in the blue colors. The Rocky River is in purple. On the right side of the screen, over the eastern side of our service area, is the Chagrin River watershed, and then the yellow is the Lake Erie Direct watersheds. Basically, we're addressing regional flooding, we're reducing stream bank erosion all along our 489 miles of stream network that we're obligated to operate and maintain conveyance, and then we're improving water quality. And we do that through routine inspection and maintenance. So we walk that 489 miles at certain frequencies to make sure that it's operating and it's cleared and cleaned as it should be, so we can receive storm events and reduce and minimize the amount of flooding that's occurring. And then we've developed master plans, which are essentially blueprints to understand all the problem areas in all the communities, those 57 communities that we serve, so we can get to the task of implementing the $1.6 billion worth of projects that we've identified under the master plans. And then our design and construction group designs and constructs projects. And I'm going to show you a couple projects, but we wanted to mention a couple projects that we're working with Cuyahoga County currently in terms of the county engineer and Department of Public Works. We have the Sheldon Road project on Abram Creek, which is Sheldon between Middleburg Heights and Brook Park, in terms of the project area being having flooding issues. So it's impassable during the 5-year storm event, and it's about 4.5 feet underwater during the 100-year event. So we're working with the county to do a road raising and new culvert project there. And so this is a picture of the culvert. It's built in '36. You can see the flooding that occurs, road hazard there. So we're trying to address that issue. So we're going to raise the road. This is the master planning that shows us and helps us understand the severity, magnitude of flooding, expansion of the flooding. So we know that's a low point in the road. We need to raise that road. So we'll do about 1,000 feet of road raising and a new culvert section to better convey flows underneath the road in concert with the county. And I believe we've captured some federal funding to assist with this program, with this project as well. So it looks like we're going to be out to construction in 2026 to address this issue, which has been a long-standing issue for both communities. This is a good example of inter-community drainage issue. Neither community on their own could address this. It's quite expensive, several millions of dollars. So county, regional stormwater management program, we're able to address that for those communities. And then we'll take a look at the Vaughn Road project. So Vaughn Road is the linkage between Brecksville and Sagamore Hills Township, so Cuyahoga County and Summit County over the Cuyahoga River. Again, capacity of the bridge to convey flows of the Cuyahoga River. We know that there's low points on the road leading up to the bridge overpass on Vaughn Road. So we're working with Cuyahoga County to do the road raising portion. The county's going to replace the bridge, so we're working in concert with both Summit County, Cuyahoga County, and the 2 municipalities, as well as the sewer district, to address that project area. One more example on the stormwater program. So this is the Hemlock Creek Stream Restoration Project that we did in the city of Seven Hills. about 1,000 linear feet of restoration. But what we did there is we had identified that Hemlock Creek had at least two 90-degree turns in it, so which is unnatural for a stream. Basically, the subdivision was built around the stream. The stream was manipulated during the development, had those two 90-degree turns. There were two roadway crossings that were in a state of failure that were Seven Hills' responsibility. We recognize they're on the regional stormwater system, that the stormwater program can help address those, so we did. About a $3 million project, but I'm gonna walk you through a picture here, or a series of photos to show you how we did that. So I mentioned we voluntarily, we approached property owners that had flooded or were experiencing stream bank erosion. And under our program, we acquire properties, often residential properties. In fact, we've invested about $27 million in acquiring properties. And this is all voluntary acquisitions. So these property owners were made aware of the program, made aware of our project, made aware of the opportunity to be purchased if they so choose. And they did choose to be purchased and get out of harm's way. So we voluntarily acquired them at market rate. And so this series of slides just shows you that. So you can see here the project area in the acquisition phase. And so there's all the properties that we acquired, basically to give ourselves space to allow Hemlock Creek to access its floodplain, and then correct those 90-degree bends, and then address those culvert crossings. And so here's under construction, so pretty significant construction project for us. And then here's the finished product. So you can see the new meander pattern in the stream. We've done a lot of rock, riffle, pool alignment within the stream. The homes are gone. The stream has an area to flood now. The culvert crossings are in a better alignment, and they're brand new. So we've got a better life cycle on those culvert crossings. So just an example of the projects that we undertake on the stormwater program. Another piece of the stormwater program is our community cost share program. 25% of all the fees collected in each municipality are offered back to that municipality as a reimbursement grant to use for local stormwater management. And so here's all the list of different things, and there's things beyond this list that the local municipalities use, but they can buy equipment, they can clean their catch basins, they can buy property with that if they so choose, they can fix their storm sewers, they can pay for their public works employees, they can buy iPads to have better map systems out in the field. So there's just a variety of things that we do, all grant reimbursement based. And so since 2013 to present, we've moved out about $60 million worth of local community cost share in that effort. And then lastly, I just wanted to show our map of how our service area is divided amongst our watershed team leaders. A couple of our team leaders are here today. Nicole Velez and Ann Schilling are in the audience today. They represent and are assigned to the communities in our service area, and they are basically our liaisons between the member communities and the district to help with any issues in terms of project coordination with the sewer district and the municipalities. And then I'll just end with cost savings. We have a variety of cost savings programs that we continue to promote to our customers, both on the wastewater and stormwater side, to bring them the savings under the different programs. And so you can see those programs. And then we've also instituted utility assistance resource fairs. We have 2 remaining yet this year, I believe August 9th and one later in the year. But these have been a great opportunity for customers. We align ourselves with other utilities, public and private, to come together and allow our customers to interact with us and them to seek out all the available cost savings programs that they can take advantage of. So with that, I'll take any further questions.
Open up to my colleagues. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you, through the chair. Thank you, Matt, for being here today. Appreciate the presentation. I don't think, when you see this, and I've had the pleasure of working with many of you through Parma Council, but I don't think people always realize exactly what you guys do and how much work you put into these communities. So I do want to compliment you on, the scope of the work you do, the improvements you're making throughout the communities, and you are making a difference. and your team's willingness to come out to the communities, explain the projects and what's happening, because oftentimes people are already angry. They're getting flooded out of their homes, basements, but they don't always like the change that comes with some of the projects that you're doing and the inconvenience of the construction, even though we're working towards a common goal. But I just want to commend you for the work you guys do. And like I said, coming out, facing these residents, holding the community meetings, explaining what's going on. And I think we've all experienced that. And usually by the end, people see the progress and they appreciate the work you did. But you guys do get beat up quite a bit at some of these meetings. But I want to thank you for the work you're doing. And I do have one more question through the chair. When you mentioned the 98% capture rate with the 7 interceptors going on, is that also, you said it was mandated, is that also, is that around the Great Lakes communities, or is there other major cities with that same mandates or these type of projects happening?
That's correct, Councilman. So there are other major cities in the Great Lakes area and across the nation that have combined sewer overflows that are also under federal consent decree. Our closest neighbor is the city of Akron, so they are also under consent decree. So that's correct.
Right. Thank you. Thanks again for being here. Appreciate that.
Appreciate the compliments.
Other questions?
I'll horse around for a minute. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for the presentation. Can you introduce your staff so I can wave to them?
Oh, sure. Sir, so we have Crystal Davis with us today. She's in our government affairs.
We know her.
Okay. Nicole Velez is our one of our watershed team leaders. Ann Schilling is another one of our watershed team leaders. And then Donna Friedman is our manager of community watershed coordination. And then sitting behind them, Keith McClintock, who is our manager of watershed funding. So he operates our grant funding programs.
And that's a great team. I have been around for a little while, and what you have been able to do to change the operations, the image, the rebranding of the sewer district is incredible. You hear nothing about the sewer district except positive things. And that's the true reflection of the leadership that has taken over from the times of 90s when I was 97, 2000-ish. And there were some growth opportunities that was managed through, and having the premier sewer district around is something we're proud of. So I just wanted to give a reflection from somebody who's been around for a little while and watched a few things that happened, and just keep up the good work.
Appreciate the comments.
Other questions, thoughts? No? A question and then also a couple of comments. I think, again, I echo my colleagues' sentiments. The work that you do is incredible. And the fact that this work is culminating in what I would like to call almost a national model, right? That we've had the success that we've had because of the efforts of your team, and that other regions can look to what we do and say, hey, this is best practice, right? This is best case scenario. That's incredible. And then, hearing from my colleagues, just being relatively new in this seat, how far it's come in the transition and what has happened over the last decade, and seeing, that incremental progress is really incredible. So the efforts there. And I think it falls into that category of one of the things that we don't think about until we need it, right? Maybe this is 2 years ago. I live in Moreland Hills. I was driving in Chagrin Falls, and I'm on Solon Road, and there's this road that curves up into the hill, and we'd had this really bad rainstorm, and right after I was going into town, it looked like something out of a movie, the water curving around this street and coming, and I mean, it was just destroying the road. Actually seeing it, the road was blocked. And people forget the power of water and what it can do and the havoc that it can wreak. So I just think when we think about from an emergency management perspective, even just how important the work is that you do. So my question is about some of your environmental considerations, and this is a big picture question, kind of a 10,000 foot elevation. Can you just kind of briefly share what are the biggest considerations surrounding the environment and how you're protecting the environment, and just kind of what the plan is for the next 5 to 7 years in terms of still, keeping to that mission of, protecting the environment?
Yeah, it's a great question, Councilman. So there's a lot of change, and I think one of the main things that we look at is resiliency. How can we make the systems and the infrastructure that we're managing and operating resilient? So we always have an eye towards that. We're also watching the climate adjust or change, if you will. So those considerations are continuously folded into our programs as our programs evolve. You know, the stormwater program's an important program in terms of being able to have the system ready. I think just in having our stormwater inspection and maintenance group available to clean debris out of the system after a big storm event and have the system ready to receive the next storm event has allowed some of our storm events to pass somewhat unnoticed. So it's just one example. Removing all that sewage from our greatest natural resource is really significant. We have a lot of good infrastructure here. We have some infrastructure that still needs to get a new uplift. So, you know, we continue to update our models and refine our models to better understand with greater accuracy what's actually happening to us when we get these rain events. That informs our value engineering that we're able to incorporate into our big projects. So we're able to save, you know, tens, I think by the time programs are done, hundreds of millions of dollars, which folds right back into our customers' savings. So, you know, first and foremost, we're customer service oriented in terms of our ratepayers and our municipalities. You know, we're here to serve those municipalities that are in our services areas. And so we'll continue to build that resiliency through a variety of programs to make sure that they have the resources that they need.
Just one more. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The board that you have and the
Yes.
working relationship that your administration has, can you talk about? I don't want to discount how, in my eyes, great a board that you have. They're a good group that working together, and you have a City of Cleveland appointments, you have the Cuyahoga County appointments, and it seems like they're working pretty well together, and it's not much of we want our city, we want our county kind of stuff. Want to talk about that really briefly?
Sure. Our board is very region-focused. They understand the ability of the regional utility to deploy resources in the right way for the greatest good. Again, first and foremost, for the customers, the ratepayers, but again, with a focus as well on the municipalities in terms of the member communities. So it's been a good board for quite some time now, and they've essentially enabled staff to develop these programs and allow these programs to evolve, which again brings resources to not only the county and the municipalities, but for the greater good.
Thank you very much. And just a reflection, this is our chairman has this committee under his responsibility, and how cool it is that he's bringing our partners in to help enlighten us and all the viewing audiences. And you're the first ones that came up, so I do appreciate his leadership. But when RTA comes up and when the Port Authority comes up, it's just going to help broaden our understanding to help be the true partner that we want to be with our partners that are out there that's taking care of our constituents and your customers. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I appreciate you saying that, Councilman. Ms. Davis came to visit me a couple of months ago, and we had a blast. She's incredible, and I love these types of things. When I was knocking on doors, just chatting with people in the community, I found so many people in Cuyahoga County don't know what we do. And across the board, from the work that your organization does, Health and Human Services, whatever it is. And I kind of found that a little bit upsetting. So for this particular committee, I've been thinking about more of a public education type of approach to the work and, you know, exposing the work that your organization and so many others are doing in such a way to let people know, hey, this is what we do. This is what we're about as a county. Some of these pieces may not be the sexiest, right? But they're critical services. So we should be talking about, especially when we have the wins like your organization has had. So were there any other questions before we wrap it up? All right, thank you so much for presenting today. We really appreciate it. If there's anything you need from us, please don't hesitate, as well as to the rest of your team. And thank you for coming today. We really appreciate your efforts.
Okay, thank you.
All right, that was kind of all we had for today. So any miscellaneous business? Not at this time. All right, I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All right, there we go.